Your soulmate finally revealed what happened last night. My beloved child, something changed last night, and your soulmate can no longer pretend that everything feels the same. There was a moment when the noise around them disappeared, and one thought became impossible to ignore: you. But what happened next is the part they never expected. A conversation, a memory, and one sudden realization came together at exactly the same time, making them question everything they had been holding back. They finally understood why your presence has remained so powerful in their heart, even through silence and distance. Don't skip, because what they realized last night was not something small. They saw something about you differently, something they had overlooked before, and once they noticed it, they could not forget it. Stay till the end, because the biggest revelation is still ahead. Your soulmate finally admitted to themselves that their feelings were never as simple as they tried to make them seem. Every time they attempted to move their attention elsewhere, something quietly brought their thoughts back to you. Last night, that pattern became undeniable. And for the first time, instead of running from the feeling, they stayed with it. Then came the moment that changed the entire night. Your soulmate remembered something you once said, did, or made them feel, something that seemed ordinary at the time but suddenly carried a completely different meaning. They began replaying memories, connecting moments they had previously ignored. And the more they remembered, the clearer everything became. Something huge is waiting for you, because their revelation was not simply, "I still think about this person." It went much deeper. They realized that what they feel around you cannot easily be replaced. There is a sense of recognition, comfort, curiosity, and emotional connection that keeps returning. Don't skip now, because this is where last night took an unexpected turn. Instead of asking themselves why they could not forget you, they started asking a completely different question: what if I'm not supposed to? That single thought shifted everything. Suddenly, they were no longer looking backward at what happened between you. They were imagining what could happen next. They pictured a conversation with you. They imagined finally saying the words they had edited inside their mind countless times. And something inside them became certain: silence could not remain their answer forever. But the most surprising part of what happened last night came near the end, when your soulmate made a quiet decision they have not revealed yet. Stay till the end, because this decision could explain why you may soon notice a change in their energy, their attention, or the way they approach you. They decided that when the right moment appears, they do not want fear or uncertainty making the choice for them anymore. They want clarity. They want to understand what is truly possible between you. And that means the next chapter may begin very differently from the last one. Something huge is waiting for you, because last night was not only about remembering you, it was about finally accepting what those memories mean to them. They went into the night carrying unanswered questions, but they came out of it with one powerful realization: whatever this connection becomes, they cannot keep treating it like it means nothing. And there is still one thing they realized about you that changed their decision completely, something they may finally be ready to reveal. Something unexpected happened inside your soulmate after that realization, because once they stopped denying what they felt, another truth immediately surfaced. They began looking back at the moments when they almost reached out, almost spoke honestly, almost allowed you to see what was really happening inside them, and suddenly they understood why they always stopped. It was never because you meant too little. It was because you meant enough to make every decision feel important. Don't skip, because last night they finally recognized the pattern they had been repeating. Whenever their feelings became stronger, they stepped backward. Whenever they missed you more deeply, they became quieter. Whenever they imagined getting closer to you, they started questioning whether the timing was right. But last night something broke that cycle. They asked themselves one powerful question: how long can I keep pretending this connection has not changed me? And they could not find an answer. Stay till the end, because what happened immediately afterward surprised even them. Instead of distracting themselves, they allowed every memory of you to return. Your voice. Your presence. The way certain moments with you felt completely different from ordinary moments. Suddenly, those memories were not confusing anymore. They were pointing towards something your soulmate had been avoiding for longer than they wanted to admit. And then the biggest realization began forming. Your soulmate understood that they had spent too much time waiting for perfect circumstances. They wanted the perfect moment, the perfect words, the perfect certainty, but last night they realized that waiting for everything to become perfect could mean never discovering what might actually happen between you. Something huge is waiting for you, because this changed the way they started thinking about their next move. They are no longer asking only, "What do I feel?" Now they are asking, "What am I going to do about it?" Don't skip here. This is where the story becomes completely different. Your soulmate imagined what it would feel like to finally speak without hiding behind vague words. They imagined telling you that you crossed their mind far more often than you probably realized. They imagined admitting that certain memories never disappeared. And most importantly, they imagined hearing your response. That possibility created both nervousness and excitement, because suddenly this was no longer just an emotion living privately inside them. It could become a real conversation. A real moment. A real turning point. Stay till the end, because one final thought from last night pushed them closer toward making that possibility real. Just before they allowed the night to end, your soulmate reached one conclusion they could no longer ignore: they would rather discover the truth than spend another chapter wondering what could have happened. That realization changed everything. Something huge is waiting for you, because they are beginning to understand that their next move does not need to be dramatic to be meaningful. It could begin with something simple: a different kind of conversation, a moment of honesty, or a small sign that opens the door to something much bigger. Don't skip, because beneath that simple beginning is a decision they have been building toward for longer than you know. They want to stop letting uncertainty write the entire story. They want to see what happens when honesty finally enters the space between you. And the most surprising part is that last night they remembered one specific moment involving you that made this decision feel almost impossible to reverse. That memory reminded them exactly why you became unforgettable in the first place. Stay till the end, because what that moment revealed about their feelings could completely change how you understand everything that has happened between you so far. But there was one memory your soulmate could not push away last night, and the moment it returned, everything suddenly became clearer. It was not necessarily the biggest moment you ever shared. In fact, it may have seemed completely ordinary when it happened. But something about the way you made them feel stayed quietly inside their heart. Last night, they finally understood why. You gave them a feeling they had been searching for without realizing it, a feeling of being understood without having to explain everything. Don't skip, because this realization led them towards something even bigger. They started comparing how they felt around you with how they felt in other situations, and the difference surprised them. With you, certain things felt natural. Certain conversations stayed in their mind longer. Certain memories carried an emotional weight they could never fully explain. Stay till the end, because your soulmates suddenly realized that they had not been remembering you by accident. Their mind kept returning to you because something remained unfinished between you, something neither silence nor time had completely erased. And once they admitted that, another question appeared: what if the connection they kept trying to understand was never meant to be ignored? That question stayed with them, growing stronger as the night continued. Your soulmate began imagining what might happen if they stopped protecting themselves from every possibility and simply allowed one honest moment to happen. Something huge is waiting for you, because for the first time, they were not imagining an ending. They were imagining a beginning. They pictured seeing your name appear again. They imagined hearing your voice and noticing whether that familiar feeling would instantly return. They imagined finally telling you that there were things they never said because they did not know how to say them at the time. Don't skip now, because one realization changed their entire perspective. They understood that staying silent was also a decision. Every day they said nothing, they were still choosing something, and suddenly that choice no longer felt right. They began wondering whether you had also sensed that something remained unspoken. Whether you had ever questioned their silence. Whether you had ever looked back at the same moments they were replaying last night. Stay till the end, because those questions did not make them retreat this time. They made them curious. And that curiosity became the first spark behind what they may be preparing to do next. Then came the thought that your soulmate had been avoiding more than anything else. What if they finally showed you the side of themselves they had kept hidden? Not with dramatic promises, not with perfect words, but with genuine honesty. Something huge is waiting for you, because last night they realized that their next move could begin with one simple choice: to stop pretending they feel nothing. They do not know exactly where that choice will lead, but they finally understand that some answers can only be discovered by moving forward. Don't skip, because there is still another layer to what happened last night. Your soulmate did not only remember the past, they quietly pictured a future moment involving you, and that picture stayed with them longer than anything else. In that imagined moment, there was no confusion, no endless guessing, no emotional distance. There were simply two people finally understanding what had remained unsaid. Stay till the end, because what they imagined doing in that moment reveals something even more surprising. Their decision is beginning to turn into intention, and the next thing they considered doing could be the clearest sign yet that last night truly changed everything. And then, in the quietest moment of the night, your soulmate imagined doing something they had stopped themselves from doing many times before, finally opening the door to a real conversation with you. Not with rehearsed words. Not with confusing signals. Just honesty. Don't skip, because the thought that followed surprised them even more. They realized they were no longer afraid of what they might discover. They were becoming more afraid of never discovering it at all. That changed the entire direction of their thinking. Suddenly, the questions were different. Instead of asking, "Should I keep waiting?" they wondered, "What if one genuine conversation changes everything?" Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate began picturing the first few seconds of that moment. seeing you, hearing from you, or finally having the chance to say what had remained unfinished. And beneath all those thoughts was one powerful realization: they did not want another opportunity to disappear simply because they were uncertain. Last night made them understand that sometimes clarity does not arrive before you take a step. Sometimes clarity appears because you finally take one. But there was another revelation waiting underneath that decision. Your soulmate realized that what they wanted from you was not some perfect answer or perfectly scripted moment. They wanted something real. They wanted to know whether the connection they still remembered could feel just as meaningful when brought into the present. Don't skip now, because this is where their emotions became surprisingly clear. They remembered the smallest details about you, the way certain conversations unfolded, the feeling of particular moments, and the things about your personality that remained in their thoughts long afterward. Those details suddenly mattered more than they expected. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate understood that people do not usually remember those tiny things unless the person attached to them has left a meaningful impression. That realization made them stop questioning whether you had mattered. The question became how much you still mattered now. Stay till the end, because once they asked themselves that honestly, they could no longer hide behind the same explanations. Their feelings had evolved. Their perspective had changed. And somewhere between remembering you and imagining what could happen next, they started becoming ready for a completely different chapter. The final realization of that night arrived when your soulmate understood that their next move did not have to reveal everything at once. It only needed to create an opening. Maybe a sincere conversation. Maybe acknowledging something they once avoided. Maybe simply showing you that the silence did not mean you were forgotten. Don't skip, because what matters is what changed inside them before that possibility appeared. They stopped viewing you only as someone connected to their past and started wondering whether you could still belong somewhere in their future. Something huge is waiting for you, because that single shift changed the meaning of everything they had been feeling. Stay till the end, because the story is not finished yet. There was one final thought your soulmate carried with them after last night, a thought they could not dismiss even after everything became quiet again. They wondered what your reaction would be if you finally knew the truth about how often they had almost chosen to speak. And once they imagined your answer, another realization appeared, one so unexpected that it could explain why their next move may come differently than you expect. What your soulmate realized next was something they never expected to admit even to themselves. They had been waiting for a sign, but perhaps the real sign was the fact that their thoughts kept returning to you. Every time they tried to close this chapter emotionally, one unanswered question remained. Last night, that question became impossible to ignore. Don't skip, because this is where everything they had been feeling suddenly connected. They remembered the moments when they wanted to say more but chose silence. They remembered times when your presence affected them more deeply than they allowed you to see. And then they understood something surprising: they had spent so much time wondering what you might feel that they never honestly confronted what they themselves wanted. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. When they finally asked themselves, if fear, timing, and uncertainty disappeared for one moment, what would I choose? The answer came faster than expected. They would choose clarity. They would choose one genuine opportunity to understand what exists between you. And for the first time, that answer did not feel confusing. It felt strangely simple. Then another thought entered their mind, and this one changed the emotional meaning of last night completely. Your soulmate began wondering whether you had misunderstood their silence. Maybe you thought they stopped caring. Maybe you assumed certain moments meant nothing to them. Maybe you believed they had forgotten what happened between you. Don't skip now, because the possibility that you could have interpreted everything differently affected them deeply. They realized that silence can create stories that were never intended. Stay till the end, because they began thinking about what they would want you to know if they finally had one completely honest conversation with you. They would want you to know that some memories stayed. They would want you to understand that certain feelings took longer to process than expected. Most importantly, they would want you to know that their distance did not automatically erase the significance of what they felt. Something huge is waiting for you, because this realization gave them a new reason to consider speaking. It was no longer only about expressing themselves. It was about correcting what may have remained misunderstood between you. And just when they thought they had understood everything, one final possibility appeared, and this was the part that stayed in their mind after the night was almost over. What if you are also waiting for clarity? What if both of you have been standing on opposite sides of the same unanswered question, each wondering what the other person truly feels? Don't skip, because that possibility completely changed the way your soulmate viewed their next move. They stopped thinking only about what could go wrong and started considering what could finally become clear. Something huge is waiting for you. They know one conversation cannot predict an entire future, but they also know that avoiding the conversation guarantees that the questions remain unanswered. Stay till the end, because their intention is becoming stronger now. Last night did not give them every answer, but it gave them something they had been missing, the willingness to find out. And there is one more revelation still hidden beneath all of this. Before the night ended, your soulmate imagined exactly how they might begin that conversation with you. The first thing they wanted to say was not what even they expected, and understanding why could reveal what they truly want from you next. The first words your soulmate imagined saying to you were surprisingly simple: "There is something I should have told you sooner." And the moment those words formed in their mind, everything they had been holding back suddenly felt closer to the surface. Don't skip, because what they wanted to say afterward was not about creating another mystery between you, it was about finally removing one. They wanted to explain that their silence never told the whole story. There were moments when they almost reached out, moments when they wondered whether you were thinking about them too, and moments when they questioned whether they had allowed something meaningful to become unnecessarily complicated. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Last night, your soulmate realized they were tired of carrying conversations that existed only inside their imagination. They wanted to know what would happen if one of those conversations finally became real. And that is when they pictured you listening, not judging, not guessing, simply hearing the truth they had struggled to express. That image gave them something unexpected: courage. For the first time, speaking honestly seemed less overwhelming than continuing to wonder. But then another realization appeared, and this one went deeper than everything before it. Your soulmate understood that they were not looking for a perfect version of you or a perfect version of the connection. What kept pulling their thoughts back was something much more genuine: the way you made certain moments feel different. Don't skip now, because they finally recognized why those memories survived while so many ordinary memories faded. You had become connected to an emotion they could still recognize instantly. Something huge is waiting for you, because that understanding changed what they wanted from their next move. They did not want to arrive with expectations about exactly what must happen afterward. They wanted truth. They wanted to discover whether the emotional connection they remembered still existed between you today. Stay till the end, because once they accepted that, the pressure inside their mind began disappearing. They no longer needed to know the ending before beginning the conversation. They simply needed enough courage to begin. And last night, for perhaps the first time, they genuinely believed they could. Yet the most surprising part came when your soulmate imagined what they would do if you responded with warmth. That possibility made them picture a completely different future, not some impossible fantasy, but small, meaningful moments, talking without confusion, understanding each other better, and allowing whatever is real to unfold naturally. Don't skip, because this is where their private realization became something stronger than a passing thought. They understood that they did not want another chapter built entirely on assumptions. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is beginning to recognize that whatever happens next, honesty could finally free both of you from endless questions. Last night changed them because they stopped asking whether they could guarantee the outcome and started asking whether the truth deserved a chance. Their answer was yes. But before the night ended, one final detail returned to their memory, something you once did without realizing how deeply it affected them. And when they remembered it, they understood exactly why their feelings had survived all this time. That detail may be the real reason they are finally considering stepping closer instead of remaining silent. That one detail returned so clearly that your soulmate could almost feel the moment happening again. It was something small about the way you treated them, a look, a thoughtful gesture, a sentence spoken at exactly the right time, or simply the way you made them feel noticed when they least expected it. Don't skip, because last night they finally understood why that memory refused to fade. It was never about the gesture itself. It was about what they felt underneath it. For one unforgettable moment, they felt that you could see a side of them that most people overlooked. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Once they recognized that feeling, dozens of other memories began connecting around it. They realized that their attachment to you had not grown from one dramatic moment. It had grown quietly through details, the conversations they remembered unexpectedly, the things you said that stayed with them, and the strange sense that your presence carried more meaning than they were prepared to acknowledge. Last night, they finally stopped calling those memories coincidences. They admitted that you had left a lasting impression, and that admission changed the question inside their mind from, "Why do I remember?" to, "What am I going to do now that I understand?" Then something even more surprising happened. Instead of replaying the past again, your soulmate began imagining the next time you might cross paths or speak. Don't skip now, because this was different from every other time they had imagined you. Before, uncertainty always interrupted the picture. Last night, they allowed the moment to continue. They imagined themselves being calmer, clearer, and more genuine. They imagined not hiding behind short answers or pretending that nothing meaningful had ever existed. Something huge is waiting for you, because they realized they do not need an extraordinary opening, they only need a real one. A simple conversation could reveal more than months of guessing ever could. Stay till the end, because your soulmate also recognized something they had never fully considered. Perhaps the biggest change does not need to happen around them first. It needs to happen inside them. They need to stop allowing old uncertainty to control new possibilities. That realization gave them a confidence they did not have before last night. They may still wonder how you will respond, but they are beginning to understand that wondering forever will never give them the answer. And when the night finally became completely quiet, your soulmate reached the most important realization yet. They could not rewrite what had already happened between you, but they could decide how.